Yan share 2017. You talk about 2017. Me who they say. 2017 is a very exciting year in all aspects. Now, change of government, but new government and so into power. Now, situation being the new government, it be surface here. For the past 15 years, now economy ain't taking nose dive to that level. A lose 72% of growth momentum, dropping from 14.5% in 2011 to 3.6% in 2016. 72% growth momentum. And this is a car crowd eco speed here, and walk 100 kilometers per hour. Then or corner 28 kilometers here. Will lose 72% of its speed. Actually, I will say, economy no be creating a backlog of unemployed youth. That is why you see them in their numbers. You see them in their numbers. And for the past 5 years, to me who say, we school, you know, about 90% of them after national service, economy need to me accommodate you. Compounded by doomso. Energy crisis, a prolonged year beyond imagination. And my business is in what will produce below capacity. Senka one ton store more now want to manufacturing more. And what say we need to be eddy. Now who produce probably at half. Bebre kure free ha engage Chinese. Any Indians, some manufacturing non ko no munya importers. Mom emaye distributors in their own nation. We are our job creation. 3.6% growth even with oil. A hard drain. And my gross domestic product in dollar terms a drop from 48.5 billion in 2011 to 38 billion in 2016. A trail in dollar term. So we were getting worse off around that particular time. Ya Ghana ni bia di na nikosia ehu ye. Ekoya ko affect even as water seller. Do ton as water mpo blog wa de nsuo kura gumu no de brogo no atutum ekura mpo no na ye difficult. Na me feel say Accra there even Adum FM kura you may have experienced that. Some come use mobile for the past 5 or 3 years on diesel motor yen kwa no me no betumetu ya oka for 6 months. 6 months, yes. And that was situation about we BTI. I think you arrears that cropped up. 7.3 billion Ghana cedis was arrears, apart from the debt of 122.9, which is true. Arrears are accumulated to the tune of 7.3 billion. Health insurance, 1.2 billion accumulated. Workers' second tier pension, 80 months in arrears, 3.1 billion Ghana cedis now accumulated. Tax credit, Obama treat your taxes, Amana Broso. Yeah, so Omano refund. A tax credit, 540 million, 123 million by way of school feeding. Then road contractors also hitting the neighborhood of 2.8 billion. And who could 7.3 billion was a red hot arrears that must be cleared by this government. And this is a movement, you know. So generally, the economic situation, because the economy, no, at 30 year 2012, immediately after 2012 election, getting to 2013, now Ghana are running a budget deficit of 12.1% of GDP, 8.7 billion Ghana cedis. Even countries kurampa na onum etuaba eko runoff never ran such a huge deficit. You see the no a one touch for former president John Dramani Mahama. It was one touch. In the kekura de e ho ka no ka amepi. Afeni musi e ho. enema bi afi uhwe economic situation na de ye freno debt to GDP auditoratia to the level say afi debt to GDP around that particular time 2016 na hit 73%. Ghana was already senkana ye hepeke mreni bia nanka we look at situation ma o man ko hepeke. We were already there in 2015. We were there. I'll give you criteria for HEPIC. Number data for whether we were there or we were not there. Maybe. So what ran country na kosi ya a bit affected rating. Ghana was downgraded, rated B- with negative outlook. From outside there, you will be attracting higher interest. So what happened then? We had to go to the IMF. We had to go to the IMF and sign on to 3 years. You could sign in. So baby, your aircon, ayeka, you lack policy credibility. You could say, koya no to see a shisha near maybe. I feel free hokono. Yes, by see call IMF. That was the alternative. So policy credibility. When you lose policy credibility, what does it mean? When you sign on to IMF, extended credit facility (ECF), it means you have lost your macroeconomic powers. Inflation aginsemo, debt to GDP are deteriorating, interest rates are moving to certain level. And at certain point in time, Ghana policy rate was the highest in sub-Saharan Africa. And even today, improvement we are still at a level we can't compare ourselves to the Francophone countries and some other countries, even Nigeria. Compare. It is still very high, which I will admit. So it's what tiaba and so edaso was so at 26%. Near was so per year, and at the time I told about year, 25.5, and also was so. Even today, 20%. And that's what was so money as Obia minim what must be done to the economy. I feel so. Business confidence was down. GSC Composite Index had registered negatives over the years. So, cost stock market here. I feel near me. So, at the time the current administration took over, the economy was virtually on its knees.
So no. Time and MPP for more year the true state of the nation addressing. What figures were you leaning on?
The same figures that I'm talking about. Figures like this were mentioned there to GDP. They were mentioned. And the Vice President Jangazi Abeko IMF. And indeed we were there. Signing on to extended credit facility. People believe going to the IMF, echo sign on to ECF, just a fashion. There be no problem. And that is an intensive care unit of an IMF.
The ECF.
The ECF. Intensive care hospital. And your OPD type of problems. Yeah, okay, yeah, 3 days be an hour. It was an emergency time. That is why we are there up to this time. And nobody saw correct economic imbalances. So IMF catch will say, around that time, we are running huge balance of payment deficit.
Baba be or buy our travel no sending Butai as a policy credibility. Anna, according 3 years, I uncover with IMS. I
uncover.
That's how I say ECF as I'm making. That's what the emergency point.
Yes.
Now, a baby so hot as they began at the Hododo. Yeah, I bet you foundation. Near Prima Conkai. Yes, I uncover whether ECF or whether emergency, whether cardio. That I uncover. Yen Tiasia MSI uncover in Yajuma. It was a fantastic opportunity for the MPP. Said, "But me, I move away." For that, I Kufano. Namaba Abisili, maybe a local content.
And that is what we are on course. My main country, economic management is not magic. You must systematically and pragmatically run sound policies backed by prudence. And son, what do you? On the catch say we oil in commercial quantities. No one to me and turning around and running out flashy programs. One far map. What happens to your nation? You must first tackle social and economic infrastructure when you discover the oil. That is the only thing I get from God. That was the time now was here per energy. Pumasi bread and as a nation.
Discovery of the oil.
Yes, near build the infrastructure here. The infrastructure we are talking about, I can tell you, when you build infrastructure, your GDP is expected to grow. Why was the GDP always sliding? When you are indeed putting investment in infrastructure.
But this is book talk. Oh.
Yeah, well,
clearly, this is book talk.
Which is book talk?
In terms of education, it's book talk. On the field, is that what the MPP is practicing? Because the policies, from the policies, the pointers, the indicators, everything the NDC did is getting to Ghana into the ditch. Yes. Now was getting Ghana into the ditch.
Yeah, that's right.
The MPP measurement in the state. Now the MPP is in power. The question is that all these pointers, all these indicators are
that's right.
Now on the ground, the issue about infrastructure, the issue about policy, credibility, the issue about men to implement and all these indicators are stable or minor, you're pushing forward. Is that what is happening?
That is what is happening. Look at the rating I talk about as B minus with negative outlook. Go and read the indication now from Fitch and Standard & Poor. Standard & Poor is now saying with positive outlook. Go and read Bloomberg report for the last time. Go there and go and read the Bloomberg and Standard & Poor situation. Call IMF, Kura indicators, Article 4 papers. Read on Ghana about situation. For the past 3 months, I've been having some meetings with the IMF. And I know what is happening. Go there and see for yourself and read about Ghana's rating, whether it is the same. Koshe energy sector levy, whether the government is leaving it hanging. Energy sector levy, TOR, VRA, and others. Now the ECG, Akrepo, a tar banking sector. In the neighborhood of 10 billion Ghana cedis. What do? The only thing is to free the banks. Banks, philosophy, they said, the government philosophy is to use private sector as a basis of developing this economy and creating the jobs. And that is what I believe. Country be a develop will be a private sector. Now, how would the private sector work? I just say, enabling environment. And what is that? And only say sustainable energy. And no be na dom FM. And NASA dom television. More benefit here, me note here. Uncomment generator. To. I can't one, Whatever it is, I just want my almost stable energy. Then again is the interest rate. Making sure say interest rate be form. And how do you do that? And what's the Obua banks and no cleaning or books? A bank also institutions the bank. Then what do you have to do? That brought about the ESLA loan, for which part of it will be used to settle the bank for which they have already received. Some of them. Then you are improved in terms of liquidity situation. Finana, you remove what is called toxic debts. A car, a basso, sa, a cofunti, near the other banker, or free no. A finana, ebe bow. Ama wo no when you're quine. Ayade. Ama when you're quine, yes, bobo private sector, bossia, probably at relatively lower interest rate. In this a policy rate in the crash here at form a drop 450 basis in financial terms. So banking terms from 25.5% to 20% is about 550 basis. That's what boom. But and reflecting what banking because a ban the car government must clear its debts. Yeah, what the banks, and you must issue bond. And only ESLA bond to free those banks. Now, almost so in your coin, and no can one of those things. Then other initiatives that are coming. So because the local grounds are visa, free education have been launched, And for the first time in the history of this nation, apart from the 3 northern regions and part of northern voter, you are more benefiting since Kwame Nkrumah time, no? A new paradigm shift is coming in the educational system, even though there may be pockets of problems, which I do anticipate.
Clearly, any new project beyond those.
Policy was cycle. We call it policy life cycle. Into a was a honor ever. Now, when it is coming, now you address it as human beings. And nothing of no me no problem now waka. Na bino so nya so brache no abomode no address it. Fellas who program now waka na bino address it. That is how we work as a country. Into no and also so planting for food and jobs. It is the first year. I personally don't criticize government in the first year because about way better. One, stabilizing the economy, so clearing arrears and launching your programs. 3 things within 1 year. Very difficult at difficult times. Over quality economic imbalances, macroeconomic problems. You are under IMF austerity. Yeah, will be in 3 years, for which has been extended for another year. At the same time, clear legacy debts and arrears accumulative. Teachers who have been promoted over the years. Omala once is in since 2013, and they have sounded warning. So they may lay down their chalk, or let me say their chalk, their mark. Baby. And the government is watching. As a country, in addition, you are bold enough to introduce free education, planting for food and jobs. What you say, 1 district, 1 factory. People are saying we can't see the factory. Please, factory that can last for 100 years. It takes some time. This is a new industrial revolution for this nation. It will take us up to about 25 years to get them properly established.
Probably then the politician, in this case the MPP, still hasn't gotten the message on 1 district, 1 factory.
Message clearly. No, this is what it is. No, please. We are talking about reality on the ground. Of course, that is it. But do you believe that?
Of course. It's a whole process. It's a whole process. Then I'm saying, say,
industrial revolution. It is not one-off exercise. Period.
Perfect. That is the explanation I make. I said, then probably from where you are coming from, the definition for the 1 district, 1 factory was made to be a political tool. The understanding of the ordinary Ghanaian was that NPP takes power. The next minute, I'm seeing many
within a year
across the length and breadth.
It doesn't work that way.
That's it. So I like the reality of the system.
Yes, it doesn't work
that way. This is a revolution. And we are looking at years to come.
We are looking at years. And the first year, be at 10. If you 4th year, why you be at 12, 15, a year sustainable. Then, so we are lucky. Now, then you continue. Then any other government that comes to power in future, they look at it as a success story and they build on. That is how we build.
Okay, so
what I would say, they say it is a very exciting year. We have the bad side and the good side. We are on track economically. There may be other petty issues that usually crop up in government. Andokradi bibia ebisi amobia to be who say relatively governance is a process. A human institution, human beings, and you do more or mine. So there may be mistakes here and there which can easily be corrected. Ya enka or emetna so enche. But I know say going forward, once we have the fundamentals right, once we clear the arrears, which is on course, and we have redefined our developmental focus, say 1 year per free education, 2 year per planting for food and jobs, 3 year per 1 district, 1 factory, which we need to sustain to give our youth the jobs. Then the next one is reforms in government institutions. Yeah, paperless system, Once we have been able to identify this, within 1 year, we have not failed as a country. Let us move forward. Second, third year, where some of the policy are a good crystallizing, and I see then we will see the type of fruit planting for food and jobs will bear as far as